Lead a one-man revolution from your armchair, talking cliches to listeners that aren't there. You call it warfare, but your wars aren't fair. If they were, there'd be suicide bombers in arms fairs.
YouTube, salute. DJ Akademiks called out Meek Mill for hypocritical messaging. He tweeted his empathy towards soldiers sent to war by comparing their experience to people in the trenches back home. So Meek is trying to say that the people in the hood go through the same thing that the soldiers go through. This is pretty much the most self-indulgent, narcissistic tweet you could probably have about this situation, because while we're trying to give some light to the men and women who serve in our armed forces, DJ Akademiks he just feels like Meek Mill has no empathy, and he's just trying to feel like the people in the armed forces, that we go through the same struggle that they go through. So Meek hit his Twitter. This is what he said. One time for the soldiers that really gotta go to war and put your life on the line. We from the trenches, so we know the feeling of having your life on the line 24/7, not knowing if you're going to make it home. So Akademiks, he understood where Meek Mill was coming from, the point about comparing the streets to war, but he think the comparison went too far. So he feels that, this is Akademiks saying this, so you're telling me that somebody who's in the Marines who could get targeted right now with a C4, a landmine, or hit by some type of missile, they're basically fighting for people who never even seen the horrors of war. They are having the same experience like Meek Mill in the trenches? Come on, brother. This is Akademiks. He also talked about how Meek's failure to even acknowledge that street life shit isn't really a crime, and that it starkly contrasts the men and women who volunteer to risk their life and protect the others, saying that the people on the street, they're not volunteering to risk their life. That's a choice they're making. And he also feels that he can't tell if Meek Mill stands, one way as far as want to be a positive role model for people, but next thing he's making music about the streets and telling people about, this and that. So he feels that Meek Mill confuses him, because he also thinks his stance for prison reform is a great thing to advocate, but man, then it's telling people to go to prison in his music. Let me give him my 2 cents here. First and foremost, Meek Mill, yes, he was making music like that about, going to jail, popping mollies. I'm not going to say he hasn't made music like that. Recently, Meek Mill has been making the small steps of changing. He's trying to enlighten people more about everything he's going to do. Meek Mill's not perfect. He made mistakes just like we all make mistakes. Now, the comment about war overseas and people feel that there's war in America. Well, there is war in America. And I don't want to compare, because you can't compare. But the war in America, especially on Black and brown people, we are being attacked by the police. I mean, come on. What you think the government has everything set up for? Why you think they have ghettos in the projects? Black and brown people just didn't create that shit for themselves and say, hey, let's live like this. Let's have a fucked up condition. No, that shit was all by design. I don't want to say the military people and the people in the ghetto have the same struggle. That's I can't say that. But I know the people in the armed forces, I'm a veteran. You risk your life when you go to war. You risk your life when you go overseas. You risk your life when you swear in, when you go to basic training, when you go to a trade school, when you go to the fleet, when you go to your station, your battalion. You're risking your life. So that means a lot. In the streets, you're risking your life even if you never gangbang, if you never sold drugs, because it's still a chance you could be an innocent bystander walking home from school and catch a bullet, be robbed, be shot. It happens. I mean, I've seen it happen to so many people. I've seen drive-bys and they didn't get their target, but they hit a little child, or they did something over here. So the thing is crazy that you have to understand that the situation is different. I know where Meek Mill is coming from. I'm not saying I agree with Meek Mill all the way, but it is a war. There is a war in this country, and there's also war overseas. Why you think Huey P. Newton, co-founder of the Black Panther Party, talked about not going to war in Vietnam? Muhammad Ali talked about not going to war in Vietnam because they said we're dealing with a war right here in our own country. Why are we going to go overseas and fight that war? They wasn't saying F the soldiers because they knew that the soldiers are innocent, but they saying we have a war right here. So that's the difference. It's not like we going outside like, yeah, let me go shoot that black man down the street. Let me go shoot that Latino man. No, not that type of war. You're trying to survive. That's the mentality. It's the difference. And even in the armed forces, you're trying to survive also because you want to make it home back safe. So I knew what he was talking about. He probably didn't be able to elaborate it more because DJ Akademiks probably just not thinking the way and don't have the same experience I have and Meek have. A lot of people don't have that experience. A lot of people are going to think, oh, Meek Mill is disrespecting, military soldiers and veterans. No, he's not. I know he's not disrespecting them. But if you never lived that life and you don't understand where he's coming from, you're going to have a hard time. So let me know what you think. Do you think DJ Akademiks is right? Do you think Meek Mill is wrong? I want to hear from you. Post your comments below. Hope smash Black Panther the like button. Subscribe to my channel. Click the bell icon to be notified when I upload new content and go live. If you'd like to support and donate to the channel, I have Venmo, CashApp, PayPal, Streamlabs. Everything's in the description. Until next time, peace.